Hello there, and welcome to part 2 of the first module of professional ethics. Now, while the following topics could be understood without the help of part 1, it is highly recommended that you go back and complete part 1 before you move on to part 2. Else, the fundamental understanding of what is given in these slides will be completely lost on you. So, in the first part, we covered the first few topics of Module 1, which basically lay the foundation for the remainder of the topics. In this, we cover the remaining topics, starting with work ethics. Work ethics is not simple because it varies from company to company and even between countries. In fact, this entire subject, this entire course is to give you a very basic foundation in professional ethics or work ethics so that you can build upon it as you go and join the workforce. Now, what I meant between countries is because let's compare two different countries. For example, somewhere in Germany and somewhere in Japan. Both these are very industrial, very technologically advanced nations. But if you work in a Japanese multinational company and if you're seen working late, it is a good sign. It shows that you're hardworking. On the other hand, if you do the same in a German company, it might show that you are an unproductive person. People generally finish their work as early as possible and then they go home. So, work ethics is not something that can be simply taught to a person. It's not hard and fast rules on what is right and what is wrong. It is essentially a way of thinking which needs to be implemented given a workplace. So, one of the more practical methods of gaining a sort of work ethic is through the process of service learning. Service learning is the process of engaging in a work environment so that you can pick up on their methods and their ethics. This is different from volunteering because usually when you volunteer, you're doing it for their benefit. But when you are engaged in service learning, you're doing it for your benefit and your knowledge. The best example one can give is in the case of preparing your CV or your biodata. Now, when you are in school or college, you can create your own CV, but the problem is you are essentially copying of CV templates which you have seen online or maybe from other working people. It is only when you start actively engaging in the industry would you find out what you need to highlight in your CV and what you don't need to explicitly mention in it. The image you're seeing on this slide is the former US President Barack Obama with his team of White House interns. Now you can Google and research more about White House interns, specifically because they are engaged in what is probably the most powerful man in the world. Civic virtues are moral rights that we must perform as citizens of the country, whether it is for our immediate society or whether it is for the nation at large. We must understand that these are things which we do not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of our fellow citizens as well. So, this could include keeping your public areas clean, not playing music loudly on a metro, or having a sort of road ethics while driving on the road. Now, Indians are notoriously famous for having poor civic sense. This can be seen in how we just throw trash on the side of the road outside of our property, how we fail to maintain queues in railway stations or other places, or simply not performing our political duties by voting properly in elections. We must understand that as citizens, we have to do all these duties properly, and in return, the government will give us rights. This is the contract we share between the government and us as citizens. Now, since the French Revolution, we have given a lot of importance towards liberty, equality, and fraternity. So, in this free country, we must be careful that when we are exerting our freedom, that we should not destroy the freedom of other people. And the best way to exercise this is to respect others. Now, respecting others might be as simple as just listening to them when they're going through a hard time or just in general. Or it might require us putting extra efforts into helping someone, whether it is through our own mental capacity or whether it is through our financial capacities. But regardless, we must respect the fact that others are just like us with their own values and desires, and we must, at the very most, try and help them with their life struggles, or at the very least, not be more disruptive towards them. Living peacefully is something that is easier said than done. Even if we try to live a life where we are focused towards only our goals and our achievements without trying to compare ourselves with others or without trying to interfere in other people's lives, we might still face a lot of issues which we cannot solve. In order to live peacefully with these issues and with the larger problems with the world at large, we must learn to accept them. Now, since the advent of social media, the concept of sharing has changed quite a bit. But sharing just doesn't mean you have to share your physical resources like money or your things. Sharing could also mean the sharing of ideas. We can even share our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. This is not just for our own sake, but for the sake of the person we are sharing with as well, or for society at large. As cliched as the quote is, sharing truly is caring. Now, honesty is a value which most people look down upon these days. Most people would say that there is no need to be 100% honest. But at the same time, these very people would look down upon something that is inauthentic or fake. Being honest simply means that you are your most authentic self. You are your most truthful and sincere self. This is the reason why a lot of leaders emphasize on the importance of truth. Courage is not the lack of fear, but the process of overcoming fear. Now, due to popular media, most instances of courage is usually showcased by courage in battle. That is not the case. You could simply be courageous if you have stage fright, but you still spoke in front of a crowd. Now, fear is a normal emotion felt by all sorts of animals. But we as human beings, if we decide to stand up to fear and overcome it, that is what makes us human. Now, most people might look at human history and say it is entirely filled with competition. Competition where one kingdom defeats another or one person defeats another. But then, if you really look at it, human history is built on cooperation and not competition. Take the example of the Great Pyramids of Giza. That is a product not of competing human beings, but of human beings coming together and cooperating. Similarly, all of human civilization, all the things which we have built and achieved, has always been through cooperation, from the Great Pyramids of Giza to the International Space Station. Now, commitment is often used to describe marriage, but we don't need another person to showcase commitment. We can be committed to our own goals. For instance, your life as of now has gone through a lot of fluctuations, a lot of changes, where your initial desires and interests would have changed a lot. But you can show commitments to yourselves and to your goals by continuing to exist a consistent behavior. If it is very difficult to commit to yourself, it's going to be much more difficult to commit to another person. Now look at this photo and think about what feelings and what emotions you're going through. Here in front of you is a person who is begging for his life. You can note that he is injured. You can notice his blood-stained shirt, and you can notice that he is so afraid to a point that he is in tears. What does this make you feel? If it makes you feel sorry for this person, that You genuinely are sad that this person is in this situation, but in the end of it, you're kind of happy that you are not in the same situation. That is something which we call sympathy. Empathy is when you genuinely understand what this person is going through. Maybe because you have gone through a similar situation yourself. Empathy is the act of experiencing what that person is going through, understanding their feelings and emotions, but at a very personal level. And human beings are a very largely empathetic species. We can empathize not just with other human beings, but with other creatures as well. Every time you have seen an animal undergoing some sort of torture or pain, and you feel sadness within you, not because you feel bad for the creature, but you are wondering what is going through that poor creature's mind. That is empathy. Empathy is one of those emotions or one of those feelings that is often ignored at the cost of one's own humanity.